Hey guys, I'm playing some more City Skylines mass transit, and apparently we need shops for our city. And yeah, and we're just gonna keep on expanding, building stuff. And what's the problem over here? You've got what? Not enough fuel, dude. There's all of the fuel. There's all of these oil fields. I might have to relocate my oil fields. Yeah, look, all this oil, it's gone. Well, we'll move them across a bit, but yeah, I mean, we're now producing so little with all of this that that apparently there's just not enough oil. That's problematic. I don't really know what to do with this because I want to have oil fields, but the resources disappear so quickly now. I don't know. These technically still have resources actually, but they don't have any buyers, so just get it from them. Not operating. This one's fine. Oil stored for 5 weeks. Oil stored for 0 weeks. If I just watch this for a while, will the problem fix itself? Apparently not. Huh. Maybe we're exporting all of it. How much oil do we export? I don't know if I can find out an exact number, but, you know, give it a shot. Is it this? Outside connections? Export. Yeah, all of this is export, except for, like, a few of these factories. You know what we need? More oil, probably. I don't know what to do. Yeah, fuck it. Just, there you go, more oil. Go crazy. That might be a bit much, but... it'll be fine. Well, that's problem probably solved. I mean... yeah, that's kind of a bit of a mess. Same with this. It's like, there's just not enough resources. I don't know what to do about that. There's also not really enough workers over here. That's because that's not very well connected. I'll solve that a bit today, probably. As I solve all of the problems, since my city's always run so fluidly. Yeah, you've got a couple of tube stops. You could probably use more buses. Drive on the right, because we're in America. Although this is Britain, so I should have done it where it drives on the left. But I don't think it works properly when you drive on the left. There's some problem in City Skylines with left-hand driving. Yeah. Okay, that's that. And I might as well... Oh, there's no bus stops here either. Jesus, I did a terrible job of this. Yeah, my public transport's... well, no, my public transport's fine. It's just the buses. The buses are just too panicky to really have working in a big city. Like, they basically work, but not... You know, they're not great. Okay, this is basically good. Alright. Yeah, see, look at all this. These guys don't have enough resources. Not enough raw materials. It's craziness. And this is backed up. It's not too backed up, actually. It's mostly people coming out of the train station. It's the problem. And you're trying to get largely onto the motorway? Where are you headed? Nowhere? You're going nowhere. Oh, actually, you can see there are things on there. Oh, right, that's going around there. But I think most of them, right, are probably going to... here? So I feel like if we had... an off-ramp here to there, like a straight off-ramp though. Motherfucker, just could you please? No, I'll curb it myself. Like that. That might help, maybe. Yeah, this is actually pretty trafficked up. How are the junctions here? Yeah, haven't looked at traffic for a while. Maybe it'll be a traffic-y episode, who knows. Junctions. Yeah. No, it flows pretty well. It's just there's just a lot. Yeah. Well, you know, it'll sort of. I don't know. But yeah, it's backed up quite a bit. Where are you backed up? Oh, the train crosses the motorway. That's dumb. Why did I do that? That seems like a terrible idea. Oh, God, I am not great. It's my job. Hey, I'm a fine mayor. I'm the best mayor. I am so nice to all the people in my city. They ask for things, I scream at them. Oh, God. Well, you know, being an unhinged leader is much more fun than being a hinged leader? Is that the opposite of an unhinged leader? Oh. Well, this is all just a problem. God. Maybe I can... What if I increased it a little less? Just like Up a bit. Slope too steep. Well, fuck you. Okay, we might have to get rid of all this. Okay, and then there we go. We'll just do it like that, and then put this back up. Oop, shit. What? There we go. Yeah, that looks a bit jank, but we're good. And then I need to link this back up with an off-ramp. Like, that is quite annoying. Can you just not be a bitch your whole life? Okay. Can you go out that way? There we go. Yeah, that looks fine-ish. It's a little bit not as nice as it was, but yeah, hopefully that'll work, and then hopefully also these can just bridge this back up. Bridge it up, bridge style. Nope, that's not right. Fuck. Trying to do things too quickly. There we go. Right. That should be better now. There should be less traffic. It wasn't the actual key problem. The key problem was there aren't enough materials for all this ore. Maybe just I need less of it. Less of this industry. So maybe if I got rid of... No, actually maybe it would be good actually if I just got rid of this bit. Because that'll also reduce traffic next to the train station. So yeah, we'll do that. We're good on parks. And yeah, there we go. Nice. What else is needed? More houses? That kind of stuff? Alright. Okay. Someone seemed to, a few people seemed to like my suggestion last time that I would drain the ocean again. Or I guess drain the river. Oh, it wasn't last time, it was a few times ago. I'm still recording in advance, so yeah. And also if I cover like real topics, then they might be a little bit of time off when, like they might be late because, I mean, this could be like a few weeks after I record it. Yeah, I don't know what you want. I tried to fix that last time. Yeah, so if it sounds like I'm talking about things that happened like a really long time ago, then that's why. I'm just recording for Christmas. Oh, Christmas. The time of year. You know what I hate about Christmas? A lot of things. But mostly, it seems like every shop I go into, they're playing Christmas music. I don't mind Christmas music. There's a lot of Christmas songs I really like, actually. But there's one that I really hate, that they play all the time. And it's, do they know it's Christmas time again? You know that, it was a charity song, it was written, I think, about African kids. It was like, do they know it's Christmas time at all, or something. And I have a problem with that song for a few reasons. Partly, it's kind of condescending. It's like, oh, these poor children, do they even know it's Christmas time in their poor country? They don't even know? Maybe not, but to me it sounds a bit like, well, they're poor, they couldn't possibly know it was Christmas. They're so stupid and poor. Anyway, yeah, that's probably not the tone of it, but to me it started to sound like that. Like, do these people even know it's Christmas? But the main thing is, no, they probably don't know, because they live in Africa, like, where they're probably not Christian? Like, I mean, they probably don't know it's Christmas time, or care, because they probably have a different set of gods to pray to. They probably don't give a shit that it's Christmas time. So yeah, that's one of my issues with that song. And also, it's just fucking annoying. You know? Oh. Yeah, anyway. Christmas is a terrible time. It's just an awful time of the year. Yeah, that's a bit much really here. It's a bit much. Busy corner shop. I don't want a busy corner shop. It's not even on a corner. Like, this looks nice. It's like it's got a little veranda. It's got a little signs on top. It's cute. This fits as well. It's kind of janky old buildings. These two, these little cafes. That's cute as fuck. These all fit my little. Wow, they're all little tiny cafes. Wow, they've really monopolized this. Anyway. And then this too, that's kind of this little drugstore. I don't know why it would be in this cute little place, but it looks right. But then there's these motherfuckers that are like a bunch of fucking skyscraper looking things. That's no good. It doesn't fit my aesthetic. Anyway. I guess it doesn't matter too much, but it does matter to me. Not fitting my aesthetic. Fucking asshole. Well, talking of things that are probably kind of outdated by now, Patreon did a weird thing. It's been talked about a lot, I think, today. But I guess when you're watching this, probably a couple of weeks ago. But still, I want to talk about it because I have a Patreon. And it affects me. Well, I guess it doesn't really affect me, technically. It affects my patrons. They pulled this really weird move, which I don't know why they did it. They basically changed how fees are paid on Patreon. So I think currently you pay like a percentage fee of what you... So like a transaction fee, you pay like a percentage transaction. Okay, so when you give to Patreon, you give $1. They take $1, and then what they do is Patreon takes their little bit that they need to run the site and pay everyone and, you know, be a business, and then the transaction fees they take out of it as well, and whatever's left they give to the creator, which is fine. And so obviously a transaction fee on $10 is a little bit more. And so, you know, you always, the creator always gets a certain percentage. But what they've done is, instead of taking it away from the creator, they've now made sure that the creator gets 95%, and instead of eating the cost themselves or something, they're just charging the patrons, a little bit more to cover the fees. And they're doing it in a really bad way as well. They've got this weird kind of flat, like almost a flat fee, so it's a certain percentage, quite a small percentage, plus 35 cents. So a lot of patrons on Patreon just give $1, which is fantastic, because it's something you don't have to really think about. It's a way that you could give a little bit to a lot of people, and like one viewer giving someone $1 is a huge amount of money, like relative to watching videos, because like one view isn't worth a ton of money. But so anyway, but yeah, so they've changed it so that there's a flat, I think, 35 cents cost plus a little percentage, which isn't great, because on $1 you're not paying $1 anymore. You're paying $1.36. That's the little percentage, which it sounds like 1%, but I think it's actually less than 1%, plus the 35 cents. So if you give $1, you're paying $1.36. If you give $10, you're paying $10.60. So it makes a lot more sense to give $10 to one person than $1 to a lot of people, because it'll end up costing you more. It'll cost you like $13.60 to give $10 to 10 creators, which is just such a weird thing. It's like, I don't think any creator, me included, I don't make a lot of my Patreon, but I make a little. It's like I never had a problem with eating the cost of the transaction fees. It's just like such a weird move. I got the email about it before everyone started talking about it, and I was looking at it. I was like, wait, how is this good? Like, it was titled. The email was titled. All creators will now make 95%. I was like, cool, I guess I wasn't before. I didn't really pay attention to it. But then I looked at it and it was like, so here's a graph of how it used to work before. Well, here's a little like chart of how it used to work before. You'd take your, what, like 80%, we'd take our 5%, and then there'd be the transaction fees of the $1 that gets paid. But then they put this extra graph below, which has like us making a little more money, them making their money, and then a little extra bit on the end of this line. Maybe I'll try and put the picture up, but it was just this little extra bit that was like, oh yeah, and this is the extra money we're taking from patrons. It's like, this seems like a really good way to drive away patrons. It's like, anyway, yeah, it seems like a really bad move. I don't know why. Like, Patreon's a great service. It can help, you know, make content, but it just seems like such a dumb thing that doesn't really benefit anyone, because like, it's not going to benefit the creator, because less people are going to do it probably now, or just give less, because that's fair enough. But yeah, it's just it just seems nonsensical. I don't know, maybe I'm missing a detail or something, but yeah, it's just charging patrons. But yes, I do have a Patreon, little chance to advertise. If you're interested in it. Now, full disclosure, I don't really do anything with it. I mean, if you give $10 or something, I think you get your name on my end plate or something, which is expensive for a name on an end plate, but it's just like a little thing. But yeah, I created it a while ago, and I haven't really done anything with it. Like, a lot of people are really active, making their patrons really worthwhile. I just don't have time, because doing university and this all at once is about as much time as I can possibly give. So there's not really much time for me to do extra. But it is just a thing I have if people want to support this a little bit, you know. Just, if you like the content, it helps it keep it around. But yeah, never feel obligated to give me money. But yeah, it is there. But just be aware now, you're going to randomly get charged more. Hopefully by now they'll have changed it back. Because this is obviously a while in the future. But yeah, it's just a weird thing that I felt compelled to talk about, just because it just makes no sense to me, you know? Yeah. But hey, if you feel like supporting the creation of crazy cities and weird Let's Plays where I don't really talk about the game ever, you know, it's there in the description. Link in the description. But anyway, yeah, stop talking about it now. Stop shamelessly advertising. I just did like a whole bit about, oh yeah, Patreon really fucked the patrons, but if you want to give me money... anyway. Yeah. Ooh, turn on virus protection. Wait, it's turned off? Jesus Christ! Wait, why is it turned off? I don't remember turning off my virus protection. There was just a pop-up just then. It was like, oh yeah, by the way, you should turn your virus protection on. I was like, I don't remember turning it off. That's not ideal. Do I have a virus? Could do. Maybe. I don't use like a lot of antivirus software because, well, third-party antivirus software just slows down the computer so much. So I just use Windows Defender. Which may be short-sighted, but, well, fuck it, who cares? You probably should, man. But no, I should make sure that stuff's on. Unless that's some new Windows 10 thing that's annoying. Like, Windows Defender constantly does scans, so that's on. Maybe it's like some built-in, I don't know. I don't know, man. Although I think Windows 10 is more secure than Windows of past. Yeah, Apple becoming less secure based on a lot of poor stuff that Apple's doing. Just kind of, it was like a really shitty exploit where you could just get root access, I think admin access to a whole computer just by typing in admin as the username, leaving the password blank, and hitting like enter a bunch of times would just get you in, which was so dumb. Like, seems like a really weird. I don't even know how that had happened, but yeah, that's something that was wrong with Apple. Seems like they're becoming less secure. But if you want to be really secure, you should use Linux like a boss. Although it's actually not that secure. Like there's always the constant stuff going. Yeah, you're never secure, basically. There's no way to be totally secure in the modern age. Just keep backups and, you know, just be smart and don't open emails. Alright. Just have an extra road there getting to the airport. That'll make it easier, I guess. Yeah. How's the cathedral? Isn't this the Mega Cathedral or something? Cathedral of Plentitude. Yeah, I have the option to build another cathedral, don't I? A more British-looking cathedral. Yeah, this one. I need a lot of abandoned buildings, so people turn to God. Interesting. Amsterdam Palace. That'd be cool. Yeah. Ah, good old church. This is a good enough cathedral, though. It's pretty pointy, though. It's like one of those ones that's going to turn into a spaceship and take you to God. Yeah. Have a little water. Yeah. I should start a church. I'm a minister. That's a weird fact about me. Technically, I signed up online when I was drunk with a friend. We were like, you know what we need to do? We need to become ministers. And we did right there and then. And yeah, so I mean, I can do weddings. Oh, I've just thought of a Patreon reward. $100 a month, and I'll minister your wedding. That'd be amazing. No, straight up, I'd come out of a wedding for an open bar, especially if I got to be the minister. I should check up on that, make sure it's all legit and stuff. But no, it's just one of those online sign-up things. So yeah, I can do that. Which I'm thinking I should have a church of tape. I don't know that being a minister allows you to have a church, but you know, I'm thinking we could do it. We do meet on Sundays for my live streams. If you don't know, I do live streams every Sunday. Over at twitch.tv/tapegaming at about 6 GMT. And some Thursdays, but not all Thursdays, because Thursdays are a busy day for me. Because I don't have much going on, so I try and get a lot of uni work done, and often I don't. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. I really like this little bit of thing. Yeah, so, yeah, we meet on Sundays for KSP and some other game. And that's our day of worship. On my Discord server. Well, I'm advertising all the links in my description. There's also a Twitter if you're interested. I occasionally tweet things. I retweet a lot of good stuff, though. Go follow me on Twitter. Well, this is just advertising day. Well, you know what? It's all... anyway. On my Discord server, as I was saying, my role is God King. Because I am a God King. But yeah, I mean, I can do weddings. You know... The apocalypse is hitting me pretty hard. I am now doing weddings. That'd be great. I'd fucking love to do that. No, you wouldn't want me at your wedding. That'd be fucking weird. Imagine like trying to explain that to everyone. It's like, so who's this guy? It's like, well, I don't know, man. He does shitty internet videos. They're kind of funny, I guess. He's a minister, you know. It's kind of a running joke, you know. It's the most important day of my life, but I thought I'd give it to this running joke to this guy, you know. I mean, that'd be great, though. You know, you got a wedding in London sometime. Hit me up. No, I do want a church, though. I'm gonna, yeah. So I've got to, yeah. I don't know what else I'd do. I mean, we meet on Sundays, and maybe I could get tax exemption though, something like that. Although I don't pay tax currently. I mean, council tax. No, I don't pay council tax. I'm a student. I do pay tax in America though. Ooh, that would be a good idea. So with Twitch, there's the any money I make off it, I have to pay tax in America for it before I can get it out. Basically, they just take a bunch. They take about 30% before I get my money out of Twitch, which is pretty cunty, actually. I don't really want to support America, not because I have a problem with America, just because it's like, well, that's not helping me. That's not why you pay taxes. Like, I guess I'm technically using your infrastructure, but it's not like you're going to have a proper fucking... It's not like your internet's going to be a utility for much longer, so... Anyway, so maybe I could get my exemption off that if we make my live streams a religious meeting. Oh, Jesus. I think that's a great idea, though. We should totally do that. I'm gonna put some more shops in here. Just gonna fill this shit up. Yeah, church of tape. It'll be great. Get some tax exemption. What other benefits are there of being a church? It just seems like tax exemption, right? I mean, I guess maybe closer to God, but I'm the God. Oh, wait. If I'm God on the Discord, then I can't be the minister of my church. Huh. I guess I could be Pope. You know? I'm the Pope. I'm Peppo. Peppo the Pope. Yeah. So anyway, that's pretty great. I don't know where to go from here. Now I'm just excited about my church. Can I get any more monuments? No? Dumb. Construct... yeah. Observatory. Oof. Service. Oof. Yeah. I was thinking the other day about Trump again. This isn't going to be me just yelling about him again. I was just thinking, though, like, there's a good chance he'll be a two-term president, as presidents often are. I mean, personally, I hope not, but it's not unlikely. I think in like 7 years, we'll get a new president. And to me, that's a long time. Like, 7 years. Like, I'll be 27. Like, I mean, there's a good chance I'll be married. And, I mean, hopefully not, but, you know, things happen. What if I have a kid? Like, my kid might be born in the Trump era. That'd be fucking real, man. Jesus. That'd be no good. But it just... It will be a long time with Trump as president, is what I was thinking of. That's a lot. That's a lot of Trump. Like, what would the world even be like if he is in 7 years? Because I reckon we can hold out for 4 years of not just giving up and being like, okay, well, nothing means anything. You know, just you know, just fuck truth. You know. But 7 years seems like a lot. Seems like we'll probably cave after 7 years. Like, that can't be good. Like, anyway, I really hope there aren't 7 years of Trump, basically. Anyway, we're beating down our educated populace. We've got our uneducated up to 12% now. I think it was 10% last time I checked. Still a lot of highly educated people, but that's going to take a while to correct. Those people have to die, and we have to get new people not through school for this to work. We only have a capacity of 6,000, and I will put in a couple more schools, just because we do need it, but I'm not going to let it go too bad and get unfixable. But, you know, we're not going to go crazy and provide enough schools for people to get the education they need, because some people we gotta hold back. We're getting too educated in this town. It's no good. No one wants industry anymore. No one wants offices anymore. Jesus, what are people doing? Maybe they're on universal basic income now. Maybe we've gotten that far in society. Kirkazat did a video on that. Let's date the video. Yeah, it was yesterday, I think, in my time. Probably a while ago for you, but yeah, he did a video on universal basic income, which is really interesting. Gave kind of both sides of it. Some things I hadn't thought of, like, yeah, I am somewhat an advocate of universal basic income. The idea that everyone just gets a certain amount of money from the government. Like, there's no like healthcare. No, there is healthcare. Jesus, there's no like welfare, is what I was saying. But basically, every single citizen just gets $1,000. Be louder, bikers. Fucking assholes, man. Okay, we're good. Anyway, yeah. So every citizen just gets like $1,000 a month, like to be above the poverty line, no matter what. And I really like this idea. Oh fuck it, I'm just gonna do this. I don't like having all these gaps. They actually don't look that good. Anyway, basically everyone gets like, so in America it will be $1,000 a month. You get $12,000 a year from the government. That will keep you above the poverty line. And you get to keep that. So with welfare, once you get a job, that's it. You don't get welfare anymore, pretty much. Like, that's kind of the gist of it. I'm sure it's more complicated. I don't fully understand it. But yeah, basically, if you get to keep that money, it incentivizes you to get work, because there's no chance that you're going to get work and have less money. So, yeah, and also might allow some people to work a little less, which isn't a bad idea. We work kind of too much. Like, apparently the optimal amount of work to do, the optimal kind of working hours are about 30 hours a week, and then you'll get max efficiency out of people. This is a thick forest. Anyway, but yeah, you'll get maximum efficiency out of people if they work that much. But yeah, you can go watch his video on it. But I think it's a good idea. I think it would de-stress a lot of people. Like, you see... yeah, I mean, obviously there's lots of counter-arguments, but I think the biggest argument is it's just... with the amount of poverty, kind of... I mean, in modern countries, it's just compassionate. Like, there's a... I think a lot of people find it hard to justify compassion in these things. Because it's like, well, that doesn't make fiscal sense, but at a point you gotta ask what's more important. Like, yeah. But obviously you'd have to make some serious changes, probably tax the wealthy quite a lot, because you can't just find $12,000 for everyone, every year. Like, that's a lot of money. But yeah, you probably have to tax the wealthy a lot. And a lot of people don't like that idea, because they think they're going to be wealthy one day. That's an interesting thing, actually, is... There's obviously a lot of good arguments for not totally redistributing wealth. Like, a total redistribution of wealth is like, communism doesn't sound like the best idea, at least to me. I'm going to put one of these in here, get rid of these shitty big shops, keep that crime down. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so there's a lot of good arguments on both sides, but one of the weird things I've noticed with So the right wing of politics tends to benefit the wealthy. Like, they're an advocate of lower taxes for wealthy people. You can see that in the current tax plan in America. And one of the but obviously it's not all wealthy people voting right and voting and supporting these tax plans, because obviously then they'd never win, you know. So they seem to pull some sort of magic trick, where not only are the poorer people voting right, because obviously there's more issues than just money in the world, but they also support these kind of tax plans that really don't benefit them. Like, lower taxes on the rich tend not to actually increase growth, because more money lower down tends to stimulate economies more than just having lots of lowly taxed rich people, because rich people tend to be quite greedy. They're not going to raise wages because, oh, well, we can afford it now. No, it's just going to go into another big bank account somewhere. That's just tends to be how it works. You kind of axiomatically. Anyway, so one of the best examples of kind of getting poorer people to support benefits to rich people is what's in America is called the death tax, or it's referred to as the death tax, which is sort of basically if you have a big estate, when you die and you pass it on to your children, they'll have to pay tax on it. So say I think it's about $5 million. If you have a $5 million estate, anything over $5 million, your kids will have to pay tax on it. So if it's a $5.5 million estate, they'll have to pay the tax on the $500 million, which affects basically no one. It affects a tiny amount of people. I think it's like just like 0.2%, 0.02% or something. Yeah, probably like 0.2% of people. Maybe not even that. But they've managed to swing it that it's like you'd be paying it if you were a farmer. Like, oh, well, you bought that farm, you worked that whole life for that farm, why should you pay tax on it when you die? It's like, well, firstly, you won't be paying the tax. Kids will be paying the tax. And no, you probably won't. There's like very few farms in America in which the death tax, in quotes, would apply. Like, it's... But yeah, but anyway, the main offense I see from it is people saying, well, I don't have a $5 billion ranch. I'd like to someday, and when I get it, I don't want to pay tax on that when I die again. It's like, I paid tax my whole life, and it's like, yeah, okay, right. But firstly, you got a $5 million estate, you know? You could afford to pay a little more tax. When you give your kids $5 million, they can pay a little bit of tax. They'll be fine. They'll just sell some of your estate. Like, it's not just farms. But yeah, basically people, the thing is people are like, well, I don't have that, but I'd like to someday, and I don't want to pay tax on it. It's like, yeah, well, you're not gonna have it someday. Like, there's not, like, this... I guess it's the American dream, right? Everyone's gonna make it. It's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. That can't be true. That's not how economics works. Not everyone's gonna have a $5 million estate when they die. In fact, basically no one is. Most people who have $5 million estates when they die inherited that $5 million estate. Because most rich people in all of the world, especially Britain, we've got a very rigid class system. Yeah, and it's beaten into us. Most rich people inherited their money. Not all rich people, obviously, but most rich people inherited their money, or at least a portion of their money, which allowed them to continue to be rich. And the tax just it's taxing people who are getting rich off having rich parents. It also stops what is called a landed gentry, I think, which is where you have a set of rich people who have some land forever, like in Britain. That happens a lot. And yeah, basically the point is people will defend it because they believe that they're going to be rich, and that's just maddening to me, because it's like, well, you're probably not going to be rich one day, though. Like, I know that sounds kind of... It's not something you really want to hear, but it is the truth. It's unlikely that you will get rich, just because that's how economics works, right? Not everyone can be rich. because then no one is rich, right? But yeah, I've forgotten why I started talking about this. It's been a long time and I didn't do a great job of explaining it, but what was I talking? Oh yeah, I was talking about universal basic income. And basically the idea that you'd have to raise tax on richer people, and people were like, and I've actually felt this in the past. This is, when I was younger, people would talk about, well, we're gonna raise taxes on rich people, and I understood that it was a 45% tax right now, and it was like, well, we'd need to raise it to 55% for this certain thing. I was like, 55%? That's a lot of money. That's more than half their money. You can't just take that from them. And it's like, well, for the greater good, it is not uncompassionate to take money from rich people to help people who aren't rich. Even if it does feel a bit much at a certain point. But my thought at that time was, well, when I'm rich, I don't want to pay that much tax. But obviously I came to understand that I'm probably not going to be rich. Yeah. So, yeah, basically, you should work to help yourself now, rather than help the theoretical rich version of you in the future, I guess would be the moral of all of this. And I think universal basic income, well, right now, I've actually talked about this before, maybe on this series, but yeah, I think right now there's not need for a universal basic income. There's not need for it. I could see an argument for it now, but I think as humans become less employable due to automation, yeah, it'll become a necessary thing to give people at least enough money. And obviously the argument is, well, then there'll be a bunch of lazy people not working. And it's like, well, that tends not to be true, actually. I think people like to work. Not all people. There will be some lazy people, of course, who would just not work and cost the economy. But I think mostly it would just help out people who have to work too much. For instance, the example most people give, because it's the most sympathetic, is a single mother, right? We all love our mothers, and a single mother, God, what a brave woman. And I do agree with that. It's just, that was the example I was going to give. It's the example I always give. It's the example everyone always gives. Is the single mother, right? But yes, I'm going to stick with the example because I think it's a good one. So the single mother who has to work 2 jobs to support her children. If she had $12,000 extra a year from the government, then she would still have to work, but maybe just 1 job, you know? And that would be better. There are situations where it helps. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's kind of not really my thoughts on a universal basic income. I mostly just talked about the death tax and a very depressing part about how you're not going to get rich. Yeah. But yeah, that's just one of the things that I find shocking. It feels manipulative of poorer people to be like, well, what about when you get rich, buddy? You don't want to pay a tax then, do you? See my point? You don't want to... you shouldn't have to pay all that tax, buddy. You know, it's like, yeah, if we raise taxes on rich people, that's going to affect you, is basically what it's saying, right? It's like, no, it's going to affect the rich people. Make your life better now. Yeah. But no, I think universal basic income may be good. Because it also de-stresses. There's a stress problem in the world right now, and maybe we're all just kind of being pussies. Like, I'm sure there's some person who's fought in a war watching this right now, being like, oh yeah, your real stressful desk job, that's real bad. I'm sure you really need a bunch of money from the government for that. And it's like, yeah, that's the flip side of usually thinking like this to me. It's like, well, maybe we're just kind of bitches. But I don't know, I think there probably is a stress problem in the world. And also, soldiers, you know, they get back from the war, they have trouble working because they were in a war and are having a little trouble adjusting. You know, they'd get the free money too. Swing it that way, be like, so you're saying you hate the troops and you don't want to give them money? I'm thinking how I could politically push this now, but no, yeah. So, yeah, I think a universal basic income would be a good idea, but would be extremely expensive, hard to implement, and would be very hard to convince, you know, fiscally conservative people that that's the way forward, because it also appears to be supporting laziness, right? But I don't know. I think most studies point to the idea that it doesn't really increase laziness. Anyway, I've talked for way too long about this, but it's just a very interesting subject, and you should go and watch Kurzgesagt's video. You know, in a nutshell, Kurzgesagt. Anyway, he explains it really well. But those are some of my thoughts on it. That wasn't the most coherent. It's a complex issue, and I didn't actually plan to talk about it, so talking out of my ass about politics is not the easiest thing to do. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. We covered a lot of subjects today. I think this is becoming more and more like a podcast, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. This has been episode 32 of City Skylines Mass Transit. I'll see you next time.